Yo, Elliot. Yo, so today we got a question from our bro, Ahmed Matter. He goes on to say, yo, Elliot, happy to see you back to the channel. Happy to be back, bro. I would love to be a strength and conditioning coach. Is there any website channel that I can learn from? So great question, man. And rather than give you a website or a channel that you can go and glean information from, what I'd like to do actually is to recommend a certification that you can take. And in my opinion, right now in the industry, it's probably the best certification. Now, there are all kinds of standard certifications, and they're all great. They're all good enough, right? You got ACE, you got ISSA, you got the National Strength and Conditioning Association. But like with all associations, they sort of get a little lax. They sort of get a little bit bloated. They get a little bit like full of themselves and don't really grow. So a lot of those organizations that you'll find, they're professional and they're legitimate and they're long-standing, but I don't think they all keep up with the times. And I know this because the way certifications typically work is you're going to move in say there's a spectrum of strength training, right? And you have like very conservative, right? Like the American Association of Sports, ACSM, right? Like it's very conservative, super conservative. And then you have like over on the far right side or the opposite side, like my buddy Zach Evanesh, right? Like his shit is just underground strength coach. It's about just filling up sandbags and flipping tires, and it's really just raw dog stuff. Both real good, both cool stuff. You want to be conservative. In fact, when I first started my career as a strength and conditioning coach, of course, I went to college and stuff, but then I started studying with Paul Chek. And Paul Chek's stuff is super conservative, especially when you start studying his scientific back, scientific core, scientific program design, all these programs, scientific shoulder, like he brands them scientific because he's probably offered the greatest, his programs have offered like the greatest contribution to the science of strength and conditioning. Really has in a practical way. I love Paul Chek, love his stuff. Highly recommend it. Hyper conservative. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, if I didn't have that hyper-conservative background, most of my now don't get me wrong when I say this word, I say liberal, right? It's not like, woke liberal, but liberal meaning like, kind of subjective, like just do what you gotta do and do it hard and be a beast kind of training. Had I not had that conservative background and I jumped right into the beast training, I don't think I would have been nearly as popular on YouTube because, integration, right? I think we live in the day of remixes where when you can start taking things from far ends of the spectrum or just different places and bring them together, that gives you a synergy, right? So you don't need to be like, oh, this guy's conservative and that guy's liberal when it comes to training. You can be just a well-rounded trainer by taking courses and learning from people that know how to integrate the two. And so I would like to introduce you to this, I think it's the CPPS, Certified Physical Preparedness Specialist certification that my friend Smitty, they call him Smitty Diesel, James Smith is his name. You might check him out on YouTube and look him up. I mean, the guy's super duper smart. He is familiar with a lot of conservative ideas in strength and conditioning. He's keen on assessments. I was very impressed with his demonstrations on breathing. I mean, he goes really deep into the nitty gritty stuff. But he teamed up with Joe DeFranco, and Joe DeFranco was, for me, one of the first like balls to the wall, go get it, be a beast. Doesn't matter how great your program is unless you're attacking it hardcore kind of coach. He was over there with Zach Evanesh. That's how I know those guys over on this end of the spectrum. And I love this shit when I found it because that's what got me into strongman. But taking the two, Smitty's ideas, right? And Joe DeFranco's ideas and bringing it together, and they created a certification, right? CPPS. Go check it out. And I thought that was really cool. In fact, when I decided to come back to YouTube, start training my daughters here, doing open gyms, and just getting back into the game after about 5 years off, I signed up for the certification. I'm studying it right now, and that's why I'm telling you it's a good program. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it because it's a synergy, right? You're not gonna be a nerd, these nerds, and you're not gonna be a meathead, right? You're gonna be a nerd head, a meat geek, a muscle geek, right? A muscle nerd, right? You kind of have a little bit of both there. Joe is also, I mean, he's no meathead. I mean, he's a meathead, but he's no meathead in that, like, he don't know what he's talking about, because he's trained a ton of professional athletes, Olympic athletes. He knows his stuff as well as Smitty knowing his stuff. And look, you know, I don't get a commission for telling you about this. I could, but I won't. And I'm not knocking any of the other certifications, but I just have to be transparent about who I am and where I am in the very moment. And right now, I think CPPS is a great way to get started as a strength coach. Don't be a slapdick, one of these guys who say they're a strength coach, but they have no certification, they have no insurance, they have nothing to back up what they're saying. And I'm not saying that the letters next to your name mean everything, but at least it shows effort, it shows integrity, it shows that I'm trying to do this business like a big boy. A lot of guys, they don't do that. You should create your own corporation, you should have your own separate bank account, right? This is all business talk, something for another topic. But the point is, treat your business as a strength and conditioning coach like a big boy. Get a certification, do the right thing. And if you follow my advice and you train with this integrated approach, learning from the most conservative but also the most liberal, I don't like that word because I'm not a liberal politically. I know it's different throughout the world, right? But in America, liberals give me the heebie-jeebies. But anyway, when it comes to training, I'm a fucking liberal. Right? Sometimes, because I like to go balls to the wall. So that's it, man. Bringing them both together, it's a great way to get started. Done.